I'm now with you. We welcome Leah Long, National Federation of Independent Small Business, the director for Mississippi and Louisiana. Hey, Leah, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So you guys are, of course, keeping tabs on what small and mid-sized business owners, management, what their sentiments are, given the economic conditions across the country. I think we may have also received the Optimism Index that was published, I believe, just this morning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I came across it on the NFIB website. It appears that maybe they're feeling a little better about the situation. What's going on?
Yeah, they're feeling a little bit better. It's not at its highest and it's not at its lowest, but
Yeah.
optimism's a little bit better, and we love to see that. It means things are slowly getting better for small business owners. Obviously, inflation, they're still dealing with that. But I think something that's changed a little bit, and I talked about it before, is the labor quality shortage issue. So they are able to fill these roles for the most part. Slowly, that number's getting better, but it's still the quality of labor, which I know Mississippi was big this last session trying to invest in the workforce. And so that's something as a small business owner, you love to hear that. You want those skilled employees to be able to come be hired.
So we got PPI report this morning, the cost of goods at the wholesale level, which shows that perhaps the inflation at the PPI level is cooling a bit. I mean, we still are experiencing an increase, but not at the rate we were a couple of years ago. So it came in better than expected, and then we get the CPI tomorrow. So what are you hearing on the inflation front from your members? Are they're feeling a little more optimistic about that?
I wouldn't say like super optimistic. They definitely are feeling the effects of inflation. And while it's slowly going down, that's still a biggest issue, uncertainty of the economy because the cost of services and goods have went up. And so as a small business owner, you have to pass those down to consumers, and, that hurts your business. And so it's a balancing line that they're dealing with. And so, while it's going down, it's going to take a little while even if it goes down by a point percentage, whatever it may be, it's going to take small business owners a long time to see the drastic effect of that.
Well, and still, I assume, likely still trying to manage what has been an inflationary environment for 3 years. And just as soon as they make some adjustments and changes in their business, here comes a price increase from their suppliers, and they're stuck with having or charged with having to make even further difficult decisions. Maybe if at least they can just kind of not have to spend so much time managing that and be a little bit more comfortable in what to expect, just that alone can increase and improve productivity and profitability.
Definitely. And, for a small business owner, absorbing those costs, every little thing. And I know we talk about insurance, and that's a big thing right now that's drastically affecting small business owners all over the country, the health insurance premiums. So,
Yeah.
Absorbing any of those costs, it affects, how much you can pay your employees, what you charge for services. It's not a big corporate environment, so there's no way to kind of absorb all those things. It affects everyday business for them.
Leah, I'm hearing anecdotally from friends across the range of industries, be it clothing retail, restaurant business, industrial products, furniture, et cetera. They're all reporting what appears to be a decline in just traffic and just the consumer feet in their places of business. Is that what's being reported to you guys as well from your members?
We haven't got that number saying, it's drastically decreased or anything like that. But I think everyone, you have things you're competing with different things. You still have people competing with, COVID, dealing with that number. You have online shopping. And what I love to tell people, especially around back to school, sales tax, is that small business owner that you go shop at, they also support your local communities. They sponsor your kids' baseball team. So, obviously we're a proponent of shopping small, and I think those people are the backbone of the economy. So if those go out of business, it drastically hurts everywhere. It hurts the state of Mississippi, it hurts the economy overall. And so I think people are slowly going to start getting back out, but inflation has not only affected business owners but everyone. So if the economy gets better, maybe more people will be out and about.
Something we've discussed a lot on this program, Leah, is that the individual provisions of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the so-called Trump tax cuts, set to expire at the end of next year, that would affect lots of your members who pay their income taxes as a pass-through entity and pay those as individuals. And then, of course, there's some other provisions that benefit sub-S and pass-through entities as well, the deduction there. Are they starting to talk about that, getting worried about that? Is that factoring into, I guess, their political decision-making?
Definitely. I mean, small business owners were thinking about that. That's a big push that we're doing now in DC, just to let everyone know that if this 20%, the Main Street Tax Act, if it expires in 2025, that's going to hit these business owners hard. And that's automatically 20% off. So I think that has a lot to play of, like, you've got to think about that. I know Mississippi, you're wanting to lower the income tax even more, which would be great. But, if you lower it and you still get this 20% that doesn't get renewed, I mean, that's going to hurt a business drastically. So that's a big push. NFIB has been kind of like a big blitz about it, rolling it out to let these small business owners know, and also just everyone know that this is going to hurt your local favorite restaurant or whatever it may be, because they're going to get hit automatically if this isn't renewed.
Are you is your organization actively lobbying in Washington? You've got, I think, lots of Democrats that would love to see the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act fully expire and then to just, I guess, in state whatever their tax policies are, that we don't know what those look like at this point.
I mean, we're definitely lobbying it. We did a DC fly-in. We actually had small business owners from Mississippi and all over the country fly into DC and talk to their congressional member about it and explain their story. You can hear from a lobbyist, but if you actually hear from that business owner, it makes a huge difference because they're able to tell you exactly how it's going to affect them. So, we're doing that. We're lobbying that. But, it's one of those things that if it expires, it's going to hurt everyone. And it is a bipartisan measure. There are a lot of support on both sides of the aisle, and we've got a lot of co-sponsors and co-authors. And so we're hoping to get this through.
Yeah. And then, of course, the other part of the equation is just the regulatory environment. And we've seen a significant increase in regulations issued at the federal level in particular that have imposed hardship to many businesses, depending on the industry. Some are affected more than others. Anything in particular there that you guys are lobbying for or against?
Of course, we try to, stay away from, we don't want government overreach. A business has a hard enough job and your government coming in and tell you what to do. But I do know there was one about the contractor rules. And so there used to be a 3-part test to determine what type of contractor you fall in, if this is what you do. But now it's this hard 5-step process. You kind of get confused doing it. And that's going to leave small business owners out to possibly litigation, being sued that, their employee was labeled wrong. And so it's just overreach, and it's more burdens on these small business owners that they don't need. They're trying to go to work, they're trying to do their job, leave them alone so they can do that.
Yeah. I mean, we've got new overtime rules. We got non-compete agreements as an example that have come down. And there's depending on your industry, there's been some what I would call just plain old price controls instituted as well. All of which they take time and money more than anything else to deal with, just to be in compliance.
Definitely. And a small business owner, the person running it may have 50 employees, may have 10, but they're running the business themselves. They don't have different departments to go over compliance. And so what if you miss something that's drastically going to affect your business? So, it's thinking about one person doing 8 million jobs. That's a small business owner.
Yeah. Since the Biden administration also allocated a fair amount of money, some $80 billion, to hire more IRS agents, are you hearing any reports from your members about how that's affected them?
I haven't heard directly how it's affected them, but I still think that's kind of mind-blowing that we needed that. But it's going to, because those IRS workers are going to have to find something to do. And so more than likely they're going to start investing. I mean, they're not hired to do nothing. So they're going to have to figure out what's going on. And, a small business owner already has enough issues filing the way that they do and making sure, they're going through every loophole, to making sure they're getting their tax breaks when they need them and filing the way that they're supposed to. That one big issue could be a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Leah, appreciate you joining us today. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Folks, we're stepping aside for a break. We're coming right back in the Element Wealth studio.